Spring University, we can say, because on Monday we will have some guests who write a book about degrowth, and we will organize a debate in the French Institute in the big room. So you are all invited. I hope that we will be available at 6 o'clock on Monday. Rados Veta writes the preface of this book, who will be available in a little. It's a little book. Very famous now in France and all over Europe, because it's been translated in 10 different languages now. And it's not only about degrowth, that is not so interesting, in my opinion. I can explain why. But it is about the idea of the unconditional autonomy dotation for everybody. It's more or less utopist way of life, we can say, or project, political project, more than economical project. So we will continue, and that's very interesting because it's very complicated to understand the frontiers, I will begin, between growth and degrowth. That's a big point. Actually, we have a very famous economist in France, whose name is Thomas Piketty, perhaps you know him. It was a big surprise because he wrote last month, a very big 800 pages, you imagine, about the capitalism in the 21st century, and he sell 50,000 books in US in 1 month. So we were surprised that in US a lot of people are interested by this kind of, because in the same movements, altermondialism and so on, and a new economical way to understand the world. And to understand the world, we have to take care to walls and gates, but I will not develop a lot of things because it's aperitif and we have to finish. Only to ask questions, to try to share some questions with you, and to announce a certain number of topics, because it is important, perhaps more in Bulgaria than in France. I will explain why, with some images, you will understand. And sometimes when people ask me why Bulgarian people want to integrate Schengen zone, I answer, it's not because only they are tired to show the passport and so on. It's because it's very symbolic and concrete at the same time. And that's very complicated, because there is not so many research about the symbolic way to build Europe. It's one of our topics. And the other topic is how we understand the frontiers now. Boundaries in English. Frontier and boundaries are quite not similar, but for one time it's only one word. And how it goes with our evolution of our identities, what we are, and how we are European. So it's large topic, and we win a project with Grenoble this year, and Peter was with us, about the Rhodope area zone with this population. And there is in Grenoble another idea to develop this kind of reflection in anthropological way more than in a political way with the Alps, because in fact this idea of the natural frontier, it's completely invented. The Ural don't exist, everybody knows that, but the Alps don't exist neither. Obviously it's mountain, but there is people in the mountain. And where is the frontier if there is people in the mountain? The Tatra are the same. I live near the Tatra too. It's the same. In one side is Poland, in the second side is Slovak, but inside, what it is? It is the frontiers, okay? But where are the people there? So it's completely invented. In France, Danton, you know who is Danton, this man of the French Revolution, he invents the concept of natural. French people don't know that. I'm sure that they don't know that. It's a very famous discourse in the chamber at this time, and he said we have to define the France territory with some natural frontiers. And it is not a hazard that in France, all departments, for example, have some natural names, river, mountains, and so on and so on. I live in Marne. What is Marne? Marne is a river. You live in Isère, it's another river. And it was the idea of this period. It was no more something related with religion. Absolutely not. It's finished with that. So it could be nature. You know, we are in the Enlightenment, and in the Enlightenment we have to make the links between the population and the nature. And we invent new way of frontiers. And that's a very interesting story, because now we are invented a new way of frontiers. It's why I put that. I know that I can have many hours to discuss of that, but I just put walls on gates, because it's one of the very big problems we have now, is that we have to take care not to be used to a sort of frontier. I will explain why. C'est bon, ça marche? Ouais. In fact, we have to take care and to try to imagine the old concept of representation, how we represent the frontier, what it is frontier. For example, if you live in Brest and you are near the sea, what is the frontier for these people? If you never go anywhere, and if you live in the Tatra Mountains, for example, or in Rhodope, what it is the frontier for you? How do you represent the frontier in your day life, and for the other one? And also, the frontier is linked with the use of the frontiers. The frontier can be defined with the users of the sociology of users, the new sociology of users that we try to do. We have also to take care to the relationship between the maps and the territories, because the maps build the territories. You imagine the world as you are used to imagine it. When I was young, during all my life of children and so on at school, the maps was with the iron curtain at this period, and it was completely grey in the east, and in other colors, you know. And I imagine, and after that I live a lot of years after, I live in Russia. But even in Russia, I don't realize what was Central Europe. Because for me, all the Soviet bloc was one bloc, with people who moved and so on. But it is absolutely not true. And I discovered in Slovakia that it was absolutely not true. And it was a very different situation between Russian people during Gorbachev or Brezhnev time and the Slovak people during the same times. And their representation of the frontiers are completely different. My friend in Russia, even now, have completely different idea of what is a frontier. It is why it's very complicated to understand. I was in Georgia, working in Georgia during the war against the Russian army. It was the same situation, because for Russian people, they don't, even now with Ukraine, we have a big misunderstanding about that, because we have absolutely not the same representation and the same uses of the frontier here in Central Europe, in Balkan, and so on and so on. Not in France, because France, you know, it's unique and so on. One people, one territory. It's a mythology, very, very strong, and it's why it's very complicated. We have to live in France to understand this mythology, because if not, it's not possible to understand, I think. Like me in Central Europe. So. Also, another point, the cultural and mental boundaries. You can read, for example, The Fear of Barbarians of Tzvetan Todorov. It's only one book, and you will understand everything I want to say that, because it's one of the best, in my opinion, books about that. And the history point of view, and to finish with this side, it is not possible to have no borders, no limit. We need limits, we need borders, we need to be us, and to become us, we need to know who is the others. And we need to have limits, absolutely. Even inside Europe. It is not true to say that it is a Europe without frontiers, no, because we need it. And hopefully we have frontiers. But I have also frontiers between me and Serge. Serge is from Marseille, I am from Reims. I have a lot of difference between us. sometimes much more than between my friends in Slovakia, you know, because the north is absolutely not in the same frame that in the south. Serge is more like a Latin, Italian, Spain, and so on and so on, and I am more like a German, and so on. So the frontiers are also inside. And when in the bus you said that for the poetry you don't understand any word in Bulgarian and so on, there is frontier in Bulgaria too. And obviously there is, because you can say I am from this part, my identity is part of that, and so on and so on. So it's completely mythology to say, to try to imagine a world without limit, because the human being needs limit, and we need to construct ourselves. It's like when you are young and so on. But I like this expression fear of barbarians, because the new limits now transform us in barbarian, because we have the new fears of barbarians. And we become barbarians because we consider the others like barbarians. And that's a double sense, very interesting, because we are, I can constate that people don't realize that. It's an evolution that they don't realize. We have in the election a lot of possibility to realize that in some programs they are completely in such mentality now. And for me it's the biggest danger. It is not the struggle against TAFTA who is the biggest danger. For me it's that. To try to avoid to have to consider the others. And in this case we become completely barbarian ourselves. So what boundaries? There is something very strange in the history of frontiers. Never the historian considers the users of frontiers. They consider that we have no frontiers during many times, only some very confused limit, the Roman limes, you know, or what we call the marsh. I don't know. I said you can find this name, this word marsh in all the languages in Europe, Margot in Latin, Marca in German, and so on and so on. What it is? It is a part of territory with people inside who are in sort of very strange limit, very confused limit. But at this time, nobody travels. So if nobody travels, what is the interest to have frontiers if you don't travel? Mental frontiers, and so on. The difference between the Roman people and another people, the barbarian at this time, is materialized by a big territory, confused territory. And if you have no war, no aggression, it's okay. The Hadrian Wall it is not a frontier, it is a wall. To try to get the Roman people in one side of the wall and to push the people who wanted to come outside. The Hadrian Wall is the Schengen frontiers for a lot of people. It's the same thing, in fact. But it is not a frontier, it's a defense. It is not the same thing. And when we call Schengen frontier, for me, it's completely wrong expression. Because a frontier is a passage, historically. It is not to cut something. It is to allow people to pass. And during many times, during the Roman Empire, the passage was the Mediterranean, mostly because, you know, it was very difficult to imagine you can travel and so on with the product and all pass through the Mediterranean. The world that we know at this period was centered on the Mediterranean. So perhaps we will have soon a new shape of a new Europe centralized in the Mediterranean. Why not? Because it's a new way to imagine the passages and so on. And so the great question is who travel? And if you see, for example, I like very much this film Barry Lyndon. You know, it's in the story. I am very quick. In what we call the post-Westphalian states, the post-Westphalian states need frontiers. They need frontiers because politically it was the new erected states with frontiers who delimited the political power of these states, not for the people don't move. You know, Poland move, but not the Polish people. The Polish people, they become Russian and so on, but they stay. They moved after, in the 19 or 90s, okay, but not at this time. And if you see, for example, this film about Barry Lyndon, who was this Irish man who traveled all over Europe during this film, you can understand that he passed through a lot of frontiers without any problem. And he was a soldier. That's all, because the frontiers was only in political way. It was not it was not wars. It was to organize something in political, in business, and so on, but not to make some wars. The times of the invasion was closed at this time, and the different empires after have some political frontiers with passages, and progressively we traverse. After the 19th century, people begin to traverse, and at this time, when we begin to traverse, the frontiers have another importance. I remember when Slovakia became in a Schengen zone, it was in 2009, something like that. No, it was before, 2007, three years after the integration in Europe, in European Union. I was in Tatra, in a cocktail and so on, and a quite old man said me, it's super now, we are in Schengen zone. I said, yes, why it is super? And he said, it is super because now I am free to go everywhere without any problem with paper and so on. I can go to Poland or so on. Because in Slovakia, nobody live less than 100 kilometers from frontiers, you know, so it's important for these people. And I said to him, to this man of 60 years old or something like that, I said, and you travel a lot? No, never. I have never traveled. But it is important, because it's the way to be European, to imagine that you are free. If you want to, you can. It's why it's very important to integrate Schengen zone at this step, you know. So, it is not time now to buffer zones. A lot of political specialists said that Russia wants buffer zone and so on. I don't agree with this kind of analysis. And to try to think about the concept, the paradigm of states and frontier at the same times, and our federation, because we are a federation. A lot of people said that we are not a federation, European Union. It's not true, because the definition of federation is an ensemble of states with a sovereignty in share. So we are completely a federation, a specific federation, okay? But it's the case. And the conception of nation, because we don't share the same concept of nations. That's another point. If you consider Central Europe of Balkan with the imbrication of a lot of different people, different language and so on, it is absolutely not the same way that in France, for example, and some other country. So, if I go to some images, because the time fades away, here is Israel. It is a wall. You recognize. And a lot of people now, some of my colleagues, not a lot, analyze this kind of realization with business lobby, absolutely, with Beton. And one of my friends calculate, I have not the calcul in my head, but you imagine what can it do, what could it do? He calculates the price of all the war in the world now. And it's incredible. We have 40,000 kilometers of war in the world now. We are very big, very long, like in Israel, it goes a lot like that, you know. And Mexico, it is another one, but there is others, a lot, even in Europe, inside Europe. And that's, for example, we have 30 to 40,000 people who are in camps in Europe, in European Union. And it is not very popular to say that. Not politically correct, and not popular. Journalists don't care with that. It is not only a Syrian refugee, it is also a lot of people everywhere, in Germany, in France, everywhere. And they are completely inside walls, because they are not allowed to go away. Your Syrian refugees are much more in freedom like these people in Germany or outside. So that's a very strong point that it is new. It is new, and the big point is that we finish to be used to that, to be used to these walls, and that we have to fall the wall. You remember when after the fall of the wall of Berlin, the Pink Floyd make a big show, the fall of the wall, and sometimes it happens. We have to fall the wall, the mental walls, but also the physical walls. And because during the same times we continue to have that in Bulgaria, so everybody wants, even if you don't travel, we would like not to have that, to be real European like others. And it is absolutely normal, absolutely. You know why, I can discuss about that, why it is not the case for the moment and so on. It is not the fault of Roman people, it is not the good argument, but there is some problems, as you know, and we have a lot of problems in Greece. Perhaps you don't know, but in Greece they are in Schengen zone, but they have 1,200 people from Frontex every time in Greece. Every time. So you imagine the money, the amount of money that it represents, because they get in Schengen zone very quickly without any security and so on and so on. And when I was young, it was like that. If I wanted to go to Belgium, because I live near Belgium, it was like you. So, but there was not a so big queue at this time, because only few cars. You can perhaps recognize the Deux Chevaux, for example, those who are older, or Dauphine, a very old car. But it was like that. You have some people who you want your papers, you open your car, and so on, and so on, and so on. And it don't exist anymore in France. So French people realize that they have no to do that only when they come where? In Balkan? In Bulgaria?